Welcome to the Wayne Public Library's virtual author chat. My guest today is David E. Geiger. David initiated his journey into criminal justice reform in May of 1998 and wrote many copyrighted articles on the topic. In 2018, he received the Albert Nelson Marquis Lifetime Achievement Award from Marquis Who's Who. In November 2022, he was a panel member for an FDA conference which initiated drug research into schizophrenia. In May 2024, he participated in a SOAR forum with New Jersey Reentry Corporation and Rutgers University Newark Center for Applied Appreciative Inquiry to offer your valuable public policy ideas to improve and transform the breadth of mental health and addiction treatment services for justice-involved individuals. Welcome, David. Please tell us a little more about yourself and your book, In the Matter of Edwin Potter, Mental Illness and Criminal Justice Reform.
Okay, thank you, Janet. It's good to be here. Like we were discussing earlier, this is one of my first times for a podcast. I was with Helen Lill, if you remember, if you know her from WLTW in New York. I had a podcast with her, so maybe that counts. I'm not sure, but that's okay. All right, I'm local. Okay, I live in Clifton, and I've lived in this area for my entire life. And I had a bout with schizophrenia, okay, back in 1979, and it has been a very unhappy, unfortunate experience. I ended up in court. And I'm still involved with the court. The judge still monitors my case. And senior moment. And like I said, I've lived here my entire life, and so now we're in Patterson and doing that. I'm monitored by the probation department. But what I want to talk about, do you want to talk about the writing now, or do you want to?
You might want to go into a little more about the book itself and why you chose to write it and what has come out of it.
Okay, the book itself is an autobiography. It's my story, and it was I spent some time in the psychiatric hospital. There were two of them, one in Trenton, one in Greystone. In Greystone, I met a woman named I'll call her Ruth Nussbaum. It's a person that I gave her in the book, and we became good friends, and she suggested, you got to write a book. You got to write the book. It needs to be written, and you're the only one who can do it. So time went by, we became friends, and things happened. And then, she moved, she got sick, she smoked and got brain cancer and all that. So she moved with her family down to Virginia Beach. And her suggestion to me was, you write the book. You got to write the book. So she lived with her family down in Virginia Beach, and she died there, unfortunately. And I wanted to do something. I called her, I didn't realize that. So the family got in touch with me after a while and said, please stop sending cards. Okay, so say for a Christmas card. She was Jewish, but I sent her Christmas cards anyway. And so the family got in touch with me and said, please stop sending cards. I said, well, can I do something? Can I make a donation in her name? No. Can I do this? No. Can I do that? All right, so the answer is no. So I thought to myself, well, she told me, it was she who told me to write the book. So I decided to go ahead and write the book, and so I did. And it took me maybe 5 years to write the book. And I spent a lot of time making sure it was done properly. So a good story, an interesting story. It was very important to me to have that. And nobody wants to read a dull story. But like I said, it's an autobiography, and it's all my story. It has. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, okay, yeah. So the book is organized in sections, part 1, part 2, part 3, goes up to part 8, I believe. So the first part is about my problem with schizophrenia. I succumbed to schizophrenia back in 1979, and I ended up in the courts. Like I said, we went to trial, and very nervous.
There's nothing to be nervous about.
I know.
We're having a chat.
We're having a chat. We're having a nerves. But so it went, and I killed my wife and hurt my son very badly. She died. He lived. He's okay. He's grown up. He has he's been to college. He has his own wife and family, and I think he has grandchildren now. So, but I ended up in trial, and that's part one. What happened? Oh no, part one is about being put in the hospital until I recovered. Okay, so that was part one. Part two is about the trial. Part three is about living in the hospital after the trial was done, living in the hospital, and what is it like to be, have schizophrenia, live with these people. It's not a happy world. Sometimes I get very emotional. And so so those are the topics that it covers. It covers the next hospital I went to. It was a progression. I did so well. They moved me on to the next piece of treatment. Okay, and then eventually I got out, and I went to work. Okay, and I had a job, and as an engineer, I'm an engineer, by the way, electrical engineer. We worked on communications projects, and we met a number of different people, a number of different businesses that I worked for, manufacturing companies mostly, and we did that. And so I moved here, moved there, like any person trying to get ahead in life. I did the same thing as anybody else would, looking for a job, looking for good pay, better pay. I got married. I had another child. And so on. We continued, and eventually we got to the point. Well, we talked about the writing the book, and the writing of the book is in the book. A lot of things I wrote. Let's talk a little bit about organizing this. Organizing was the main crux of writing the story, because I wanted to make it interesting, and so what I did is I, thought about each area. Excuse me.
I did read part of the book.
Yeah, you asked me questions.
And so I did see that you had transcripts. Did you use the court transcripts in your?
No, I did not
No.
use the court transcripts. I didn't use it. I didn't use anything with court. It's all from my memory. It all happened to me.
Okay.
So I just remembered it, and I put it down on the page, and so that's the way it went. I haven't told the story, so it makes it difficult. What do we want to talk about? Let's talk about something that I am familiar with. Why do we have crime? Okay, why do we have crime? We have crime. The reason is because the typical prison inmate does not have the skills necessary to succeed and accept in society. So that's the problem. Okay, so what do we do about it? Throw them in jail, right? No, let's do something different. We had teach them. We teach them reading, writing, arithmetic, social skills, speaking skills, English specifically. They have no job skills. They need a place to live. They need mentors. People who are going to help them through the hard times of recovering from coming off the streets and going into jail. Now they're being let loose again. They're only saying in prison 3 to 5 years, something like that. So that's that's it. You got to use that time constructively so that they don't go back, recidivate, go be that revolving door that everybody knows. Okay, so that's what the effort is, to keep them from doing it. And we've done that. I spoke with Ann Jacobs over at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City. And we talked a lot. We had a discussion. She was executive director there. And I spoke with her, and we talked, I sent her emails, and she responded to me, and we talked about, what should be done with this. And so teaching was something that was very important, giving them an education. And so she tried it in the various prisons in New York State, and it works. It works. People, these guys, they get mentors, they get training into job skills and all kinds of things. And this is being expanded today as we speak. And so it works. Okay, now what the problem is that we got to educate the public. We did write, okay, recently, you and I were talking about this before we go on there. We did write policies for the state of New Jersey. Okay, we were speaking about, you know, how do we treat, what do we do? The system isn't working. What do we do? So we got a bunch of people together. It's about 80 people. I didn't see that many on the video virtual meetings, but I didn't see that many. But the yeah, so we made a report. We wrote a report. We started in May of last year, and we ended up in December of last year, and we wrote a report, which is now part of New Jersey State Policy Lab. Okay, new policies that we're going to use in order to benefit the people with mental illness, with drug problems, okay, and being involved with the justice system. So that's what the project report was all about. And it's now a part of public. It's a public document. You can get it on the report, and then I think I sent that. I think I sent the copy of the link. I don't know if you're going to send that. You're going to be able to send it to anybody after this. But yeah, so that's it. So we wrote the report, and which is something that to congratulate me for, I guess. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Yes, that is
thank you
true.
very much. I appreciate it. And so now the next part is to educate the public about, what happens now. Educate the public. Okay, so we have the book. The book that we're talking about here right now. And now we're back to the book. And I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here for words like I was before. But that was the main part. When I got out of hospital, the woman, my friend Ruth, told me to write the book, so I wrote the book. Okay, and I copyrighted it. It's part of the, it's available. It's at Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Anybody can order it. And we are talking about it now. We're trying to expand, trying to educate the people. That's why I'm here, to talk about it. I don't talk so well, but but
So with writing the book, so as you said, you from your memory, you put in the sections on the trial, but were there any legal restrictions or anything about confidentiality that might have limited you in writing the book?
no, nobody's telling the story except me. I spoke with my attorney about that. Can I write this thing? He says he looked into it and he says, if you the law says that if you have a criminal conviction, okay, you cannot benefit from your situation. This is the problem, but you were convicted, so you can write whatever you want. So I was fortunate for that.
Okay. Um,
Go on.
and then it's a very sensitive story. I mean, it's your story, but it is a sensitive story to tell. Did you feel any responsibility in telling the story, especially to like the victims and their families?
We had no communication with the victims. The only communication we had is when my parents applied to adopt my son. He had, his mother is dead, and I'm in the psychiatric hospital, so there's nobody to take care of him. So my parents applied for custody, not for custody, but for
Guardianship?
guardianship, as adopted him. They adopted him.
Okay.
All right, so then they raised him and put him through college, put him through school, and raised him like their own. So I expected that from the beginning, and then they carried through. So that was good.
And how was the process of when writing, revisiting the events? Did it shed any new light or conclusions?
Well, I already knew the story, so that was no problem. But it's a very emotional story for me, and there were times I broke down in tears and couldn't do it. I remember I had somebody I was working with as an editor. I think he had training as an editor, and helped me go through this. Um, and he also got me an idea about how to publish this thing. Go to Amazon. He thought that was a good idea, so he published it on Amazon. But what we were he had me read parts that I had written. He had me read parts that I had written. He thought maybe I would be a good proponent for me speaking about this story, reading the chapters. Okay, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. It was too emotional for me, and so we didn't do that. We went to Amazon, like I said, and Barnes and Noble. So there we are with that.
Do you think the people reading the book, do you hope that they're going to walk away, that maybe they're going to, or do you hope that you might be able to change public opinion or spark social change? It seems that that's
Well,
what SOAR, that forum, and the policy change you were talking about, seems like it's part of, like your book is assisting in that.
yes, we hear stuff on the radio, on the TV about the people with criminal justice reform. They go to school for it. They talk about it on TV, like for example on Jeopardy or maybe Wheel of Fortune. People talk about a little bit about their background, their bio, and some of them occasionally do come up and speak about, I'm a social worker and I'm working on criminal justice reform, and that's great. Yeah. That's great. That's something that I wanted to happen. When they released the book in 2016, I started going out to schools the next year in the spring, so I'm stuck in snow up in Westchester County. uh, and so I went to schools. Because schools. I had the idea that this is where the future lies. Okay, we're not going to go to the old guys. They already have their ideas. It's not going to work and all this. So let me go to the psychiatric instructors, people with who are psychiatrists already. I did work on that. Psychologists, psychiatric nurses, social workers said that. Um, and people who are working in these areas of criminal justice too, police officers, their training. So because I believe that this is where the changes are going to come about. And they are. They're talking about it on TV and the radio. And well, like I said, Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune talking about that. And yeah, so it works. It works. It's working. It is working. So, but you just don't see it yet in many cases. Okay. So, excuse me.
Uh, While writing the your memoir, because it is a memoir, was there anything about the writing process that changed your view on justice or criminal behavior?
Well, I wrote about justice and criminal behavior because that's what I wanted to change. That comes first, not last. Okay. So I wanted to criminal justice. Geez, no, the book came first. I had to write this book. It was for me. It's my friend who said you need to write this book. You're the only one who can do it. And it turns out she's right. Um, so yes.
Okay. Um, so we're going to go to the basics of writing. While
Okay.
you were writing the book, did you have like a regular writing routine? You said it took you about 5 years. So how did you go about the process?
Well, I wrote it. I wrote it to be interesting. I wrote it to be interesting. I wanted it to be interesting. It's just a story about somebody who killed somebody and went to trial. Um, there's a lot of emotion in there, and a lot of people, what they say and what they do. There are good and there's bad. There are people who had to trial, for example, stood up. This is true. Stood up and during the jury delivery, the jury foreman had to come out and talk about this person. He said, this person is trying to convince all the rest of us to vote his way to convict this man. Okay, and the judge got livid. He said, "Who is this guy?" And so they brought him out, and it was somebody there, and so threw him off the case, and put an alternate in there. So these are stories that we're having. And there are good stories, there are bad stories, people who are out to help you and other people who are out to hurt you. That's the way it is. And I don't see my life as the same as anybody else's because I lived through this and I don't understand the stories. When I speak with somebody, say for example, I talk with I ask the question, did you read the book? and usually the answer is no, I'm sorry. But there are people who are reading this book. There are people who I went to. It's not always accepted. Like I said, I went to an art show. I made some drawings, had my book available, and I went to a whole arts and crafts show out in Chester last year. And some people come in there, they're all for you. They're all supporting you. People don't understand and all that. And I said, yeah, you're right. We talked about that for a while. And but there were other people who said, I'm not going to buy a book from somebody who has schizophrenia. Okay, what do you do? Okay, nothing you can do. We're still fighting over the details, and so it's not an easy life. It's not an easy life. So I don't know.
Can you tell us a bit more about your work on that the committee, the SOAR forum,
Yeah.
and so what happens now with, you said that they have to go out and start like educating the public, but
Well, that's what I want.
are there concrete, like you said, policies? So are there concrete policies that are going to be enacted or have been enacted at the state level?
Well, there are policies. The policies are available now, and so we're wondering what to do with this. The idea now is to spread this document to whoever might have some influence, the governor, legislators, people who are involved with the criminal justice system. Give them this document so they can see, or the legislators especially, and that's easier to understand. They write the laws, okay? And so what we do is we have this document now, policies for them to follow. Let's say, for example, there is okay, the law says that you cannot take a person off the street. Let's go back up a little bit. We have in our news, we hear it every day, somebody who is a mass murderer. He's got a gun, got himself into a room, killed a bunch of people. So what do we do with him? Well, we're not supposed to take him off the street. Okay, that's what the law says. The law says you cannot take him off the street unless he asks for help. Well, he doesn't think he's well. He doesn't think he's sick. Okay, this is something called anosognosia. He doesn't believe that he's sick. It's not that he doesn't. Not that he denies it. He just doesn't believe it. Okay, it doesn't exist. Okay, so what do we do now? So you can't take the guy off the street. The law says that. So what we have to do is change the policy to make it so that let's go back a little bit. People see, before it happened, people saw he's collecting guns. He's, going down the wrong way. You can see a problem is coming, and we can't do anything because we can't take him off the street. So this is what the policy directs. You say, if you see him breaking down, take him off the street and give him some help. We did the obvious, in many cases. And there are a lot, like I said, there are 80 people who contributed to this document, and we're hoping it's going to help. I don't know, but I think it'll help. It's something that, speaking from someone who has schizophrenia and has been through the process, this is an important issue, and this is the way it should be happening. My parents, when I went to my mother, when we went to court, talked with the judge, what we should do, she said, we saw him breaking down and we did not know what to do. So we made it clear, and that's why I took it and made sure that it got put into this document that we now, which is called the what do we call it? Special. So all I know is the New Jersey State Policy Lab. Okay, I don't know any special name for it, but it has to do with the mentally ill and the justice involved and these people who have drug problems. Okay, so that's what we talked. That's what we addressed, and I think we did a fine job. And we'll have to see as time goes by just what happens. The the application of this stuff. Uh,
Okay, you mentioned that you published the book via Amazon. Was that an easy process? Can you describe the process?
was that a what?
Was it an easy process?
Actually, yes. First, we had to write the manuscript. And I also put some drawings in there. Uh, oh, you didn't see the drawings. If you thumb through, you can see the drawings. Um, there were drawings in there as well because that's what Edwin Potter does. He does these things. It's part of his character, part of his nature. So we had to write I had to write the manuscript, and I worked with the editor. We didn't talk too much about that. He uh, he helped me organize it. Okay, he helped me organize it, helped me write, and he did editorial reviews on it. Said, well, this needs to be fixed, and this here, and blah, blah, blah. All right, so he helped with that, and so eventually we got to the point where we now had something to work with. Okay, had a document, front beginning to end. It's all done. Now we start, you know, reviewing it and changing it and modifying it. What do they call it? They call it massaging it.
Mhm.
Massage it and make it work. So we do have that, and it was good. But so I had to depend on him. I think he took the liberty of going to Amazon and submitting it as part of as a document, as a book. Okay, they have a process there, and I wasn't familiar with the process, but my editor friend did, so he did that, and I learned as we submitted it to the company, and I saw, and we printed one. We printed one. What does it look like? Well, I saw some problems with it, so we massaged it, again and again, until it got to a point where it said, yeah, this isn't so bad, and then we did, and so I published it and I copyrighted it, and it's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, like I said. Um,
Was your editor friend, as you mentioned, was he one of your early readers? Did you have any other early readers?
oh, he's actually an editor. He had
Okay.
trained, went to school for that, so that helped, and yeah, so that helped.
And anyone else was an early reader, got to see the manuscript?
We had we had some talk on the cover. I had some friends talking about the cover. Which cover do you like? We had several covers to choose from. We had a graphic artist working with us. My editor friend knew her as well, and so I gave that out to some friends. Which one do you like the most? Okay, so they chose one. It was all right. But as time went by, a couple of years went by, I said, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this cover here. We need to replace. We could give it a facelift. So we gave it a facelift through another company, and I like it. I like that one very much. That's that brown one, right?
Yes, no, it's a very good cover. It's a very
Yeah,
nice cover.
I appreciate it. I'm trying to get the picture.
It's not, you might pull it further
Yeah,
away, it might actually
yeah,
show.
maybe that's it. I don't know.
Mm,
Yeah, a little bit.
blurring the background.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
working. It's not working.
so we do have a question from the audience. Is the book available to residents in mental health facilities? And is it available for people who have the same incidents happen to them?
It is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and anybody can buy it. It's like a regular book. You can buy it's nothing secretive about it. You can just go there, say I want In the Matter of Edwin Potter, and they'll print up a copy for it. That's what it is. It's print on demand, POD, print on demand. Okay, it's not on the shelves. You gotta ask for a copy to be printed for you. But you can do that. You can do up to 999 copies if you want. So and then if you want more, you have to submit it again. But yes, it's available. It's available to anyone who wants it. And the price is reasonable, $21. Okay, so that's not so bad.
Okay. Have you gotten any feedback from people who read it? Or have you seen any comments, any reviews online?
Oh yeah, they're good reads. Good reads. I have over 350 reviews on there, and I got a rating of 4.68 out of 5. So it's very popular. I looked at them. Most of them are 5s on a scale of 1 to 5. Most of them are 5s. A lot of 4s, but there are very few 3s, 2s, or 1s. Very few. So people seem to have liked this book.
And what do they say? What kind of comments have you heard back?
Outstanding, uh, a masterpiece. Um, Experiences people have in their own family. They have their own experiences dealing with schizophrenia. And says, yeah, this is spot on. And so there's a lot of good remarks about the book.
Okay. So how have you handled marketing or promotion for your book? You said it's been out a few years.
Yeah, a very difficult time. I'm not a good marketer. That's what we're working. That's why I'm doing this. This is my marketing. All right. So I don't have the skills for that. I'm not familiar with it. So we're working on it. We're working on it. The libraries. Where else? Mensa. I have an ad running in Mensa every month, and we have things are picking up. I'm finding out that at the end of every month we have a couple more books, a few more books than the month before. So something is working. So we'll get there. We're getting there.
Okay. There is an audience for this would fall in between for library purposes, in between like biography, but also to a certain extent true crime, and that would be like here in the 300s. That is one of the most popular sections of the library.
Really?
And it also has legal, that's also in the 300s. So it would definitely have an audience, even in libraries. As I said, we do have a copy. So I don't know if there's a topic that you wanted to share a little more on, or is there a topic that you want to talk about? If you've had any past interviews and you wanted to tell us more about it now, that would be great.
I already talk about the criminal, the typical prison inmate. I already spoke about them. And his problem is that he doesn't have any education. He has nothing going for him, so he ends up back in again. Okay, it's a revolving door. Called recidivism. It's a technical term.
And it is something that the state, you've helped out with that the state is looking into and determining that, this is something that we want to work on and help these people not to have this endless cycle of in and out of jail, that they need a different kind of assistance because of mental health and addiction issues.
Yeah. Some people have mental health. Other people don't have mental health issues, but they still don't have the education. The reading, the writing, the arithmetic. They can't do it. So how do they go out and they make money? They rob, beat, and steal. People out there, and you hear about it on the news every night. And I'm hoping that this will make a change in it. I've seen the guys, live with them for 7 years and get an idea of what works and what doesn't work. So
Okay.
yeah, we talked about that. But that's okay. Worth reading.
Okay. And what do you have next on your agenda? Any more writing or more work with state?
Well, the writing, The writing, I need an ending. That's the same problem I had with in the matter of Edwin Potter. I needed an ending. What kind of ending? How does this end? So in the matter of Edwin Potter, I found an ending. Found something that works. Excuse me. I'm so dry here. Um, but there are other things available to me now. Jim McGreevey, you may remember him. He was a former governor of New Jersey. So we know each other. We know each other. Well, it was interesting. I was sending the book around. Remember, I told you, we gave it to different schools. We also gave it to politicians and people who are in positions of power and responsibility. So he was one of them. I sent him a copy of the book when he was still in office. And what was interesting, they said to me anyway, is that my wife and I were going down to Maryland to see a friend of ours, and we were taking a turnpike down, and so we stopped at one of the rest stops to get something to drink or something. So a car pulled up next to us, and Jim McGreevey pops out of it, and I said, "Are you Jim McGreevey?" He says, "Yes, I am." I said, "Okay, I'm Dave Geiger. And who's that?" I said, "I'm the guy who sent you the book in the matter of Edwin Potter." "Oh, Mr. Geiger!" And he came running around the car and come over, shake my hand. And I'm still in touch with him. He has an organization that he started now called the New Jersey Reentry Corporation, dealing with reentry of veterans coming back from the military, coming back from service. And these people have a lot of problems too right now. And so he's addressing that. I'm addressing this. And we know. So he's invited me I usually go to his Holy Thursday conferences that he has in Jersey City at St. Peter's, I think it is. Um, and does a good job. Does a good job of it. In the meantime, I'm doing this other stuff. So like I said, he invites me to these things, and I know this year I can't. I have a bad knee. I have a bad knee this year, so I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to make it. But other people in positions of power and responsibility, other people don't want to know who I am. I sent a letter to Donald Trump during his first term in office. I sent him a copy of the book. He said wonderful things, but nothing happened. That's the way he is, So, but I did send it to him. I have who else? A lot of people who are in office. A lot of people in office. Ann Jacobs, like I said, she's the executive director over at John Jay College, and took some of my ideas and ran with them and put it to work in the New York State prisons, and it does work. So I'm repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. This stuff does work, and we've got to, make an effort to get out there and, make the people. Well, this is where the policy lab comes in, right? The document, the report that we wrote. So it's out there, it's happening. I think I have a lot to do with it, but there are people out there who are also taking responsibility, making an effort to make the changes. So that's where we are.
Okay. Well, David, thank you so much for sharing your story
I
and
appreciate
for
it.
telling us a little more about your book in the matter of Edwin Potter, mental illness and criminal justice reform. I wish you all the best with getting the message out, but also with your book, and hope that many sales in the future.
Thank you very much. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, Janet, thank you very much for your time.